What's up, boys and girls? Today we got this 2018 Accord in back of me. The pads are down to nothing. Scrape the rotor. So I'm gonna show you guys how to replace the pads and rotors. I'll show you part numbers. I'll show you a couple of tools and a little trick. This is electrical caliper. You go to the dealer, it's gonna be $800-900 job just for the back brakes. You can do it yourself. I'm gonna show you how to. No scan tool required, no nothing. As long as everything goes smooth. I have done this before. We're gonna give this thing a power manually, and we're gonna retract the back, and I'm gonna show you the step-by-step full guide. So pay attention before you do the job, and make sure you got a car on the lift nice and safe. So let's look at this, and we're gonna start working on it immediately. So what we're gonna do is, see these little covers in the back? There's two of them. Pop them open. There you go. And I'm gonna go get an Allen key. Allen key fits over here. We're gonna remove these bolts, but before that, we're gonna disconnect the connector on this guy. And let me grab the camera, and let's take a look at that little guy. See that connector right there? That's the connector we're gonna remove. Okay, you're just gonna have to probe it and push it out. What I like to use is something sharp. A pick would work. Instead of you pushing on this, I go directly to the guy, and I just move it out of the way, and at the same time I'm able to push this connector back. I might have to get another pick because this one is not the angle I wanted, and I could not locate the other one. Let me go grab the other one. So I guess the other pick is missing, so I'm taking it. So I'm gonna work magic with this guy. It's already coming off. There you go. Pop this connector open. This is what gives it a power. So it's pretty much a motor. It's an actuator. That's done. Let's go we're gonna pop this open next. Got my little pry bar here. Snap on. Always a green. Anyways, let's pop this guy open. You just gently pull this guy out of there and do the same thing in the back end. If not, you could just simply slide it off and it comes right off. That's how simple that is. Dealer's gonna tell you it's $500 just to take that off. Anyways, we're gonna go back and we're gonna remove the two bolts, the two studs, and then we're gonna grease those up too. So don't think that I'm not gonna put no grease on these guys. Hell of a noise out there. Anyways, let's put this one off. I got this Allen. The size is 7mm. So let's loosen this guy up. See that high turns right there? Very simple. Same thing here. That's out of the way. Let's get this guy out of the way. So what I like to do is loosen them both up first and then retract them all the way out. Little bit of a grease on these guys would give it a good play. So the brakes failed at 20,000. This car has 20,000 miles on it. Okay, once that's done, it could be a seized up caliper, it can be anything, but we're not gonna think it's a seized up caliper yet. But we won't know that till the brakes, we're compressing this guy. So this thing is stuck to that. It's just a double-sided, oh no, it's just stuck to that. The ears are just stuck to that. Anyways, that's off. Look at this pad, done deal. 20,000 miles, Honda is done. And here's the inner brake pad. It does have this little guy, so make sure the brake wear indicator sensor is down. Anyways, we're gonna clean this guy up really good. But now we're gonna go into the back. There's two bolts that we have to remove, so let me set up some tools. I got my wrench here. This is a 17mm. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy off. We're gonna loosen it first. Okay, I might hit my camera the way the angle is, so I'm gonna have to work some magic here. Oh, that hurts my arm. My arm has a little bit of pain. Okay, so if you're looking at it counterclockwise. Oh, there you go. I told you I was gonna hit that camera. And then we got one more over here. It's hidden behind this brake line here. And let's get that guy out of the way. this guy comes off and this is loose. I've done a lot of brake jobs. This is the first Accord 2019. I think I've done 2019. This is an 18, and that's something new. Shock has a sensor. Anyways, let's pull off. Okay, we was talking about done a lot of brakes. That bolt is out. Let's get this guy off. The reason why I'm talking about done a lot of brakes, because even me, I've done 2019. This is an 18, but I didn't do rotors yet. But there's your bracket. We're gonna clean this area up. That's where the brake pad sits. Put a little bit of lube. That will take care of that. What I was paying attention to, what I wanted to pay attention is sometimes there's a washer, so this one doesn't have it. You do not want to lose that washer, because I know 2013, 14, 15 models have it. So we're gonna let this caliper sit right there, and hopefully it's all good. But we're gonna take off this disc, and the disc does have a small little screw right there. Small little screw right there. Let's set up our light. There's my light. So this little guy is not gonna come out. So what I want to do is, I do have a punch, but I don't like to use punch. What you can do is put something here, bang on it, and it will free up. Or what I like to do is, I like to bang this in the back, and that's gonna move. Vibration is gonna break loose that bolt. All right, so got my Phillips head screwdriver. So let's bang here. Make sure you don't hit any of the sensors. Okay, we're gonna give it a try. If that's not enough, it's gonna be more banging. This is the only screws that I hate, so it's not yet out. I don't have a good angle in the back, that's what it is. But still no. So let me move back my camera a bit. Whew. The guy is, the sensor on the shock is blocking everything. I'm not gonna go get my punch. I'm gonna do it just like you guys would do it at home. Let's try the opposite side. What the opposite side would do is, it would cause a vibration and a movement, because there's only one screw on the opposite side of it. And there you go. So take that step before you take the step out there. Try to, since it's here, try to bang it on the opposite side, because it'll move it just like that. Anyways, here it comes. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Before we clean any of this, we're gonna retract that caliper back. Okay, my friends, now I'm gonna show you guys how to retract, compress this electrical caliper on these Hondas. Okay, no special tool required, no scan tool required. So this line is strong enough. Don't judge me for this, guys. And so it's strong enough. So this is the caliper that you don't need to turn, and all you need to do is compress back, but it will not compress back. Let me go get my compress tool. You do need a compress tool that's gonna sit here, but at the same time, first you need to figure out which way this caliper, you need to give this a power, okay? So let me show you my jump box here. So I got my jump box here. It's just like having a battery, car battery. And I got two leads here. It's gonna be a positive and negative, okay? That's all it's gonna be. So I'm gonna connect that on my jump box, positive, negative. And we're gonna give this thing a power. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna turn. If you notice, you should be able to even do it by hand. If this piston is trying to come out, that's the wrong way. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna reverse the polarity in here. See, there's a 2-pin connector in there. That's all there is, 2-pin connector. And that's all I'm gonna do. That's how simple it's gonna be to retract this guy. Okay, so here's the tool that I got here. I'm gonna switch up the camera angle so everyone can see how to do this at home without going to the dealer. And this is gonna sit just like that. As you can see, this piston is not gonna go in. That's it, it stops. And this is a piston that you don't need to turn like a regular Honda caliper. So all I need to do is go in the back. Let me set up my wiring. I'm gonna give this a power. The piston is gonna start to retract this piston back on its own. And at the end, it will try to turn on its own, but you don't want to go that far. So what I like to do is go little by little till I think I have enough room. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my leads, positive and negative. Here it is. You don't want to touch them together because they're live. And I'm gonna pay attention to this at the same time. Don't worry about this, okay? And it's touching there. So I wouldn't recommend you using a C-clamp because you will damage this. But I'm gonna give this guy a power. If you see a spark, it's just that these two wires touch. I didn't burn anything. Okay, just a little bit. And let's see. So I am correct, okay? If that was not the case and I was not able to compress this, I would have switched up the leads, okay? So I don't need to switch up the leads, because if I do it the other way around, it would push the piston out. Okay, let's see how far it goes. And you don't want to force it. Just give it small touches. And the process applies to any Honda with the electrical caliper. There you go. I'm gonna just do a little bit more. Because at the end it will try to turn it itself, and we don't want that. And I think I might be good enough there. So I'm still holding the lead. So let me show you what's down below. 12-volt battery. It doesn't have to be this just a jump box. It could be a car battery. It could be anything, and just a wiring. That's all I'm using. This side is almost pretty much done. And there's my ugly camera stand here. That's what it looked like. That's how I bring you guys videos. So this is done. I'm gonna put it right back. There you go. You guys learned how to compress this piston, and it's easy, a cake. And another thing, what I want you guys to pay attention to is this little guy, and we'll talk about that later on. You know what? We're not even gonna talk about it. I thought some of these pads, they have a notch. Like the older model, they have a notch just like this one right here, and one of these grooves would sit on it, but you could just leave it there and that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. That's how you compress a piston on these Accords without going to the dealer. Okay, the reason why I keep saying dealer is because they are wild. There you go. So we're gonna clean this hub up really good. The reason why you want this clean is because your disc is gonna sit on this. And the reason why you want this thing to be clean is because the disc needs to sit flush, can't be crooked, otherwise it's gonna pulsate and give you pulsation in a brake pedal, and you don't want that. So nice and clean, clean this caliper up a little bit. Even though this is a brand new car, 20,000 miles. I don't even understand why the brakes failed at 20,000 miles. Anyways, we're gonna go get a little bit of cleaner. Here is our brake cleaner. So what we're gonna do is just smack some of this cleaner, let it sit there a few minutes. It's gonna vaporize and everything's just gonna disappear, and we're gonna lube this up a bit. So I do have this little grease here, and regular brake grease, a tiny bit all around on the hub, so the rotor can sit there good, and plus it'll be easy, it won't get stuck to the hub for next brake change. All around it, a lot of salt and corrosion will get in here, but this thing will avoid all that. Anyway, that's done. Let's move on. Let's go get our disc, and we're gonna clean up the disc. So here's our disc. I see there's a part number here. There you go. It's nothing crazy, nothing expensive. Brakes are brake. You always have good brake pads. And if you want to get better rotor, it's all up to you. But this is something that I can locally get from my part department, and they're not cheap for this vehicle. Usually discs are like 20, 30 bucks, but this one is almost like over 50 some bucks. I even told the customer 90 bucks just for the discs, but it came out to be more than that. It's all good. Anyways, this is done. You have to clean it because it has oil on it, and you don't want to put brakes with oil on it. They're not gonna stop. So I'm gonna have to put my camera on the stand. There you go. So next step is we're gonna, you have to line this hole with the hole right there. Oh, caliper's there moving around. Let's take our little screw. Remember, this screw is just hand tight. Over time, it's gonna lock itself up. It's gonna seize up just like originally we took off. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we're gonna move back a bit. We're gonna grab our bracket. Cha-ching. My lighting is terrible. Here's our bracket. Take your wire brush. Just clean the area. Be careful with this brake dust. Clean the area where the pad is gonna sit. Okay, there you go. Looks pretty good. Little bit of brake cleaner on this guy. Little bit of cleaner on this guy, and it's good to go. Sit. Now wait for it to dry up, and we're gonna mount this. So we're back here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the two 17 millimeters. We're gonna take this bracket, place it right where it belongs. We're gonna take this bolt, catch all the threads we can. Notice I have not put greasing on this. The reason is because once it moves around and hits that disc, you're gonna get that little tiny bit of a grease onto that disc, and then you're gonna be cleaning. But if you do get any, don't worry about it. Spray some cleaner, turn this disc, clean it as much as you can. This guy is in there, and it's gonna sit perfect. So let's talk about how much labor would be involved here. For me, I charge $190 labor. Doesn't matter if it's my mom, my dad, my brother, my pop, and because I try to do my best, and I do gotta charge. And it's the same thing for my customer, so I'm not treating anybody different. If you go to the dealer, it might be much more. And if I got my best friend in the house, it's gonna be probably a $50 discount. But he's gonna get charged too, but I'm keeping it real there. This is what I do, but take your time, do a solid job, and do it right the first time. Nice and tight, guys. There's the connector. So next step is we're gonna come back and over here, and we're gonna mount the brake pads. So the pads we're using is Wagner's, and there's the part number there. And inside you got the little hardware and brake pads and a little bit of greasing, which I hardly use because I got my own greasing. So here's the brake pads. Let's pop open the brake pads. Let's look at the brake pads. As you can see, brake wear indicator. So one brake pad, if you put this in the back end, remember it's in the bottom. If you put this in the back end, the brake wear sensor becomes on the top. You don't want that, so grab that pad. So that pad belongs on this particular side, and let me get rid of these bags. And the other two pads, they're the same thing. They do not have anything. Okay, so inside this bag you have little retainers. So we need to pull one of these out for this side, one of this, and one of these. And guess what? I am not gonna use this one. You're probably wondering why. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. I like to use original stuff, okay? So that's the one I'm gonna use. The reason is because it's always the better. Okay, so as you can see, the brake pad, old one with the wear indicator sensor, has this little clip here. So we take one of these clips, what we do is we smack it on, and it goes right in the between, and it clips in just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. So let's get our brake pads together and smack them in there. So now it's the time for me to grease this up a little bit. So what I like to do is I like to put a little bit of greasing right over here, a tiny bit. Same thing here, a tiny bit. And the brake pad should just simply sit in there perfectly and evenly. Let's grab another brake pad. Okay, you can even sometimes try on the brake pads before you put them on. Take a little bit of greasing here, there. This is the contacts where the caliper is gonna touch, the bracket is gonna touch this, and that's what the piece that slides this brake pad in and out on. So lubricate this area as well. So a little bit of greasing here, a little bit of greasing there, all over here, because that's the part that's gonna turn in and out, in and out. So we're pretty much done here. So what I'd like to do next is, I'm not worried about these pins yet, okay? We are gonna grease them, so take a little bit of greasing, put it here on the in brake pad on the outer edge. Nothing to do with the contact that touches the brake pad and the rotors together. So we're gonna bring this guy over and let it just sit there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this guy out, and I'm gonna pull this guy out. They're the same thing, top and the bottom, same thing. I'm gonna go get another, I do have a grease here, you know what? It's right here, silicone grease. This is much better than, well, on any slider pins, this is what I use. So one at a time, one at a time. One at a time. Take a little bit of greasing, just put it on the inside bore of this. You don't need to put it on this. It will just smudge itself onto this. And same thing here. And then this is the point where make sure your retainer here sits good on the caliper. You want to take this guy and tighten this, but just don't be too fast, don't be too quick. Take your time, guys. I've seen people strip these guys. Try to catch all the threads you can, because you think it's aligned, it's not really aligned. And same thing here. Once you catch the threads, see how it came out through here, and that one's gonna come out right through the front. And once you know it, you got it, then you can go ahead and tighten both of these. This is a safe method to do brake job. Don't worry about if some people will comment, I will blow this actuator. No, I have not blown it. The car gives it a 12 volts, probably a less, but it's fine. Tighten this guy really good. And same thing here. Bada bada bing bada boom. Guaranteed job. Solid, done, tight. Everything is tight. The 270 millimeters are tight. What we left with? We left with the connector of the actuator, and we're left with this guy. So how you gonna put this guy is, I like to put one side in. Oh, got it all backward. Put one side in, let it sit there. I guess the heat is getting to me. It's been an hour. I've been on an hour with this job because I'm talking. Really, this job should be about 40 minutes, 30 minutes. 40 minutes, I would say. Take your time. So let's take our, this little guy here. My fingers, I had 2 broken fingers, so that's why I'm a little bit struggling here. Once you have it on the hole, you're gonna tap it in and it's gonna go right in. Same thing, give it a little tap, let it tap. So it's nice and even. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh yeah, I still gotta do the other side, which you're not gonna see, but you do need to calibrate this guy. Calibrating is pretty much simple. Bring the car down. Don't start the engine, put the key on, put the parking brake on, off several times, and the actuator will find its place. And make sure you put this thing in, make sure it clicks, I mean, that's what I meant to say was clicks. Okay, so there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. We're all done, guys. So we did all 4 brakes, and remember, at the end of the rear brake job, make sure you do a small little thing, pump your brake pedal. Okay, and I'm not gonna start the engine, just put on an accessory. You heard the noise, parking brake came on. Let's take it off. You have to press the brake. Okay, parking brake. We have to take off the parking brake now. Start up the engine. Took off the parking brake. Put on the parking brake. Take off the parking brake. Put on the parking brake. So we got the parking brake on. Neither one of our tires in the back should move. Locked. You just want to double check your work. Locked. Let's take off the parking brakes and they both should move. Okay, let's take off the parking brake. Make sure your car is not in a drive mode because it's gonna start to roll. There you go. Simple. Bada bing, bada boom. You see that? It moved. So in the beginning, thought I was coming on, but I had to turn on the car. So put the brakes on a few times and it should work normally. You should release and let go. Thank you for watching.